So it's been an eventful week this week, obviously excluding coronaviruses and government lockdowns and country shutdowns and stuff like that. On Friday we were still at the campsite with Darren, and I'd had no sleep that night whatsoever. So it was just a case of getting up in the morning, and Mandy
I'd had
did
enough
all the ring around here.
Because he's just like, I don't need any help. I don't need any help with anything. His arm had gone all red as if it was infected. So I put my foot down, I did, and I rang around. Tried 111, did have to wait for a little bit. They said we could go to a walking centre, which we didn't fancy, to be honest with you, because...
No, I asked them, I even said on the phone, I said, I'm not being funny, but you're asking me to come to a place where potentially there's going to be lots of ill people. And she said, it's all right, we don't tell ill people to come. So it was like a walking centre that they can just walk in.
Yeah, so they send them away, they don't treat anybody that's there, apparently. They've got someone on the door. And that was a good 45 minutes drive from where we were.
Yeah.
So...
Bear in mind, I couldn't drive.
On the 111 website, though, which we'd gone through, the what do you need to do next checker thing, it said, not near your local surgery, click here. So I'm like, okay, not near there. And then it said you can go to a surgery, temporarily register as a patient there and be seen depending on how busy they are.
Yeah.
So there was one in the little town we were in, so I gave them a call. Absolutely wonderful surgery. They blew away all of the stereotypical grumpy receptionists and stuff like that.
They're more apologetic about the fact that we had a 2-metre box tape we had to stay away from.
Yeah, she had to put the form down, and then she walked back, and then I walked up and picked up the form.
And they were all wearing masks and gloves and everything like that. And this is a really good one as well, because a lot of the questions you were asking when we sold the house and moved into the van was, what are you going to do for healthcare? How are you going to get to see a GP? This is how you get to see a GP.
Yep.
You simply go to a GP surgery, register to be a temporary patient, and that can be a one-off treatment or for the next blinking 6 months if you're there.
Yeah, they said it is a 6-month limit on the temporary patient thing, and if you do go over that, then you have to go and register as a full patient. But this receptionist was so good, she'd spoken to the emergency doctor, explained the situation, and he was literally waiting. So as soon as we finished the form out, handed it in, the form was walked around, and then John was shouted in. It literally couldn't have gone any better.
And he was interested in motorhomes and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
he's a motorhomer, and we were talking about what might happen and stuff. So
he took a couple of looks at my arm, looked at kind of my movement, felt my arm, stuff like that, and then decided the best course of action is 3 courses of action. Yeah. So really strong painkillers, anti-inflammatories, and antibiotics.
Yep. So he's sorted.
Yeah.
So after him, me and Daz having a bit of a laugh that night because he'd taken some of his proper strong painkillers, and he was,
the
was
guy
a little
did
bit
warn
out
me.
of it. Yeah.
I mean, one of the tablets does warn not to operate heavy lifting equipment, or do not take anything else. You will feel sleepy. Do not drive or use tools or machines. Don't drink alcohol. I couldn't do anything. I could only bloody get a conversation going. Yeah,
which was entertaining in an awful way. But the best part was that he felt better. Yeah. So he'd had more colour in his face than I'd seen for a couple of days. So that was really good.
Yeah. So then it was decided, obviously we're checking out Friday anyway. They allowed us to do a late checkout. But by the time we got back to the campsite from visiting the doctors, the campsite had started to kind of shut down. So the showers weren't in use anymore. The previous day they'd taken the shower curtains off, but then they'd shut the showers down. So we were just like, well, we can stay here maybe, extend it. There wasn't a lot of pitches that were taken up.
No.
But in all fairness, I wanted to go and check on my parents, and I just wanted to get away from people. At that stage, obviously not being on lockdown or anything like that. Oh, my lovely wife, dealing with all the shit while my arm's duff. There we go. That's our water, 120 litres.
Need to drain that off as well?
Yeah, drain that off as well.
What did you do last time?
That one again is the top one there.
Just screw it.
Anti-clockwise.
I'm going.
That's stand back a bit.
Okay, and the heater. Is that one?
Yeah, that one there. And then there's one behind it if you move that black cover. That's everything draining. I'm normally the person that does all this, but obviously, as I can not really use my right arm right now, Mandy's learning about this kind of stuff. So, alright. You had your inaugural
drive.
Drive of what we're now calling Bertie. A lot of you have been asking what's her name.
Yes, it's a he.
It's a he, and he's Bertie.
And why is it a he this time, babe?
Because Bertie. And the irony of that is that our last van was called Lilibet. That was for you, I think you'd named it Lilibet. And this van's called Bertie, and Bertie and Lilibet are essentially the king and queen.
Yes. However, I did see on a comment on YouTube somebody had asked what she was called, and John had said, "No, this one's a he. It was a she last time, and we had nothing but trouble."
You saw that.
So I did see that. Yeah. So that's good fun.
Yeah. And we were still in one piece.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that, babe.
Yeah. What we had worked out, though, is lowering the tyre pressures of the van helped a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And also lowering the airbag pressures, so that you may not have worked that out from last week, but the van's got rear airbags. They replaced the bump stops on the suspension. And the dealer, stupidly, had just decided to inflate them to max. So it's 75 psi on all tyres and 2.5 bar on the airbags. So this thing was just like teeth-shatteringly...
Oh, it was ridiculous. Poor Coop didn't know what had hit him.
It's probably caused damage in the van. So yeah, absolutely stupid and ridiculous. So the tyre pressures have now been lowered considerably. And the airbag pressure's lowered considerably, and it drives much better. And much smoother as well.
Oh yeah, and it was strangely wallowy when everything was really, really high, and now it just sits on the road a lot better, and it was lovely. But yeah, it was lovely, nice, simple drive to get to your mum and dad. I think the most difficult thing were roadworks. Really, that was the only bugger of it all. So we got to mum and dad's, didn't we?
Yeah, got to mum and dad's.
They were not happy that we wouldn't go in, and we did a post handoff at the door, and then saw him, spoke to him through the window, offered some IT support through the window.
Yeah. So. Went and checked on, make sure they're all right for stocks and supplies of food and things like that, and
they've got enough Jamesons. They were very happy to tell us. Do you need anything? Do you need? Oh, we're all right. We've got Jamesons and water. Yeah. Okay.
Right, new van as well, don't you, buddy? We're well chilled out in this new van, aren't you? Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen him so chilled out.
Hello. There's a good boy, little tail's going, see? Oh, little tail. So we left them the same day, and we came over to where we are now, which the best I can give you is it's Derbyshire. And we've been here ever since, really. We've found a spot that we're okay. We have checked with those people that are around us, and they're all right with us.
Yep.
And I had a chat with a couple of them, and they know that we're self-isolating, so they know why we're here.
And they know that we don't have a primary residence to go to.
Yeah, so that this is our only residence, and they seem to be fine with that as well. So we've really spent the last few days recovering. My shoulder's getting a lot better, but I've been supervisor as well.
Yeah. Welcome to
Gadget
Mandy's channel.
What are you doing today, Gadget Mandy?
Today on Gadget Mandy's channel, we are taking out those batteries.
Yep.
And putting in some new ones. And along the way, we're going to have to take some wires off some things and put some things BMV.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. Put a BMV in it somewhere, so I've got to crimp some things and cut some things apparently, and then put it all back together, and then we can have some idea of the power we're getting from the rinky-dinky solar panel we've got, and also the drawer that the van has when we're not using anything, so we can manage things that little bit better.
Yeah. Cool.
I sounded like I knew what I was talking about and everything. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going, high five.
There we go.
No.
But yeah, we have a BMV to install, like Mandy's just said. So we're going to use that to monitor all the power. And 2 new 120 AGM batteries. I know a lot of people said you should go lithium because of weight saving and blah blah blah. But tell them why not lithium, man.
Because Mandy has nightmares about lithium. That's why.
Yeah.
And John is obsessed with batteries. So John would be equally as obsessed with lithium. So yeah, we're going with AGMs. They worked a treat in the last van. Can't fault them at all.
So that's why we're going to AGM. So 2 120 AGMs, like I say, worked fine in the last van. So we're going to swap the batteries over for that, put the BMV in there, and that's basically the task for today. We're going to take it easy. So all the bits we need to do the upgrades and work on everything on the van to make it on par, if not better than our last van was, off-grid, are with us. And that's pretty much what we've been doing this week, really. As much as I can help, I have been doing.
So if you do see on any of the videos there's any subpar quality crimping of cables, because I have slight arthritis in my hands.
Yeah.
John's not been able to use his hands, so we've literally gone with that will do for now.
Yeah. So we installed the BMV. It's this shunt here. So we've got the battery there. So we've got out from all the batteries there. That's just a link between the two. Out from the batteries to that side, and then out, which is the load side of the BMV, goes to everything that's on the load side. So everything that's on this fuse box, the rest of the van, and also, once I wire it up, the inverter. And then on this side, which is the opposite side of the battery bank, we've got the connector to that side, and then all the positive loads out again to the fuse box. And then you've got the incoming charge, which is like a B2B, which is supplied with the van, and the solar charger, and that's in through there, and then it goes out to the little BMV display. So at the moment we're getting 2.15 amps. I think it's a 100 watt panel on the roof, and it's some nasty arse controller. It's not the best controller in the world. And the other wire you need to do is a little positive wire down there, again for the BMV to get its power. And that's the setup.
Kind of exploded.
Yeah, so that's all the stuff out, all the cable and everything. I have gone over the top on the cable, you probably say. I've used 35mm cable everywhere, but that just allows me to run anything I want through it. Our urgent needs were power.
Yeah.
Where we are, we have access to water and empty the toilet. We have no access to electric hookup.
No.
So if if the batteries die in the van, then we are totally screwed, really. We can't run anything. We can't run the heating or anything like that.
Yeah. We don't want to sit where we are with the engine running.
No.
At all.
No. That would just bring attention to where we are and what we're doing then, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We've got 2 refillable gas flow bottles.
11 kilos.
Yep. And they're both full, and we're monitoring our usage again because it's a new van.
We don't know how much we're going to go through.
That's the unfortunate thing. So it's at the same time as this is the worst thing to happen because it's a new van and everything's different and none of it's great for being off grid. There's also the flip side of that, which is the extra space in the van. The beds in the van and stuff like that have really helped me and helped us get around the fact that we've got to stay in the van full time and my injury. There's no way with this shoulder injury I would have been able to get in the other bed.
Oh no, I wouldn't have been able to get in the bed, never mind sleep in the bed, and there's no other options. So
it's just fortuitous in one regard and a real pain in the bum in the other one.
Yeah.
But we've done what we've done.
Yep.
So far we've upgraded the batteries.
Yep.
And at the same time we upgraded the batteries, put in a BMV so we could monitor our usage of the batteries and things like that.
So now we're back to the
yeah.
Ooh, Mandy, look. Ooh.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, look how far down we are.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We needed to do it. I do believe that I had somebody explain it in the comments section to me the other day, and I love this one, so forgive me if I forgot your name. But he explains the reason why you should have a BMV, a battery monitor, in your camper van or motorhome is the same reason you need a fuel gauge in a car. You don't just work out, oh, I've got none left. You need to work out and manage what you've got left and see that you can top it up and stuff like that. So that's why we went for a BMV. We had new ends crimped on. We linked the batteries up properly. We put a fuse box in.
So I now know how to strip cables and put end thingies on, and what the crimpy tools do. And then he's got this big hydraulic jobby that we did for the big power cables.
Yeah, for the battery link cables and stuff like that.
So I got to play with all the big toys, which was quite good fun.
And that was probably about a day's work, really.
Yeah.
Just for the two of us trying to work together and swapping the batteries over and doing that. And the end of that day, we were both knackered. And then we found out that the worst case scenario had actually happened, which is the two batteries supplied were not fully charged. So they were supplied at 12.5 volts, which meant that like the next kind of phase really was to boost solar, because that's the only other way we can get a charge.
Yeah.
So I thought it made a boo-boo, switched obviously everything on while we were testing it, all worked, buttoned it all up, tightened it up and everything like that, started packing away, and nothing would work. And I kept hearing this kind of like, what do you call it, a fuzzy noise, like a arcing noise, as we were messing around with it all. And it turns out the original wire that they've got 50 amp fuse rated was arcing inside, so I pulled it apart and it's just like that. So since day one, that's never been crimped correctly as it left the factory. So yeah, just replacing that now.
So Mandy's learned an important lesson about crimping properly today.
Crimp properly, and if you ever hear any fuzzing or arcing noises, never ignore it. So today's full lockdown day. Yesterday,
Day one.
Bojo, as Mandy calls him, said that we can't go out anymore, we can't move. So for now, the other kind of urgent thing with us is we get the jobs done on the van, and that means obviously getting bigger solar panel up there so we can collect more of the glorious weather we're having. Have we got great weather when we've all got to stay inside?
It needs to rain. Come on, English weather.
Well, no, while we're getting solar, I don't mind.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, we do need to sort the solar situation out so we get more charge, and that was hindered by the fact they ordered some parts and they came wrong.
Yeah.
So we've had to wait a few days, but hopefully the right part's here now, so we get that fitted, so we can get a bit more charge, hopefully, from the panel that's already on the roof. And then in a couple of days' time, hopefully, if all the delivery services are still working, then the other parts will arrive, so we can actually get the new solar panel on the roof as well.
Yes, be nice.
And then we can be cooking on gas. We won't have to worry about stuff then.
We can cook on gas anyway.
No, we can't. We don't have enough solar. She doesn't get the technical stuff. So there's the new solar controller, and that's going hopefully in that little space there, if we can squeeze it all in. At the moment it's a naff little one that's down there, which has got a 10 amp fuse on it, which isn't great, but I guess as a 100 watt panel it's not going to produce more than 10 amps anyway, so there we go. So we get that installed, upgrade all the cabling for the solar and everything as well, so we can put the new panel in, and then we can get all that neat and tidied up and everything, get all the batteries in there properly. So you wire your positive and negative up to your battery or your fuse box. That then powers the solar controller up, and then unfortunately they've used electrical wiring on the outside, so I'm going to have to change that, and then you just kind of like connect these up as well. So negative first, get them as tight as you can, and then the positive.
See a little light coming on there?
Yeah, so it's now flashing that it's flashing bulk. And just to give you an idea of why I did this, this is what they fitted. Cheap shit. And obviously that's a proper charge controller. So it probably, even with the same panel on there, it's going to be far more efficient with that one. So I just need to connect on Bluetooth. No doubt it's got some updates to do. And then once it's done that and I've measured everything, I'm going to then fit it to the inside of the cupboard somewhere.
Find some space.
Yeah.
We're getting our little command centre going over the door again with this old 1970s throwback in the middle. Got all this jiggery pokery of things.
Needs sorting out still.
It does need sorting out. This is literally an interim, because Mandy's done lots of things.
Well, no, we just need power while we're here stationary. We just need power. We need everything working. And then obviously once we've got time, once we get on the road and when we can buy the right things, then we can neaten it all up then. But for now, obviously we just bought a new van with nothing. Well, not new, but new to us. With nothing we needed, and we needed to get it going. So don't judge by what you see of how it looks.
Yes, this is not the finish. This is not Gadget John's finest electrical job at all.
Judge by, in 2 days we've got almost everything by the solar panel done. And I don't get a lot of use out of my left arm right now, so yeah. There was a lot of squeaks and rattles of the van when we were driving it around as well, so if you're wondering why all the panels and everything are off, it's because part of where I've took the cables and moved the cables around everything, we were in some of these panels, so I've had a chance to tighten all them up as well. So Day 3 of lockdown, and today, fortunately, all the right items have arrived. So we now have solar panel, then the little Z plates, which allow me to rivet the Z plate to the pad and rivet the Z plate to the solar panel, and then put all those in the right place on the roof, because as you'll see in the roof when we get up there are skylights we're going to go over and other things that are kind of in the way a little bit. So we need to figure out all that, as well as figuring out where the cabling goes through to the existing solar panel, so I can tap into the negative side of that and then join that up to the new panel, so the new panel will then be in series with the old panel, which ups the volts, ups the amps, and gives us a bit more power.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
I knew that.
Mandy knew all about that. She's an Ohm's law specialist.
Ohms?
Yeah.
Ohms.
Got any ohms? Dear me. So just in case you didn't get it last time, this cable comes from the solar controller. Its positive wire is left in place, and that goes into your first panel in there. The negative wire from the first panel is then split, and then the negative wire of the first panel joins into the positive wire of your second panel. Then the second panel's negative wire, which is the return back out, joins the return negative wire of the original cable. So if you think electricity is flowing this way, into that cable, into that panel, flows back out, into this cable, into that panel, flows back out through this cable, and then back down to the solar controller, which ultimately charges your battery. So we've put the 8 brackets on now, riveted, raised on one side, and then we'll Sikaflex and screw them down onto the roof. So what we do now is putting a marker pen around each of the brackets, and then we'll lay some tape all the way around there. So then when we put the Sikaflex down and we sit the feet on it, the Sikaflex is going to squidge everywhere, you see. I just need to make sure the Sikaflex is enough that when I screw the screws in, it fills the holes behind it, so there's no leak or anything like that. And then once you've done that, then you can pick the tape up, obviously neaten the Sikaflex off around it, pick the tape up, and then there won't be any excess Sikaflex everywhere then, so it just makes it a nice, neater job. So once you're finished, it should look something a bit like that. So using saliva on your finger, you can squidge everything across the top over the screws, and then remove the tape that was all the way around. So Mandy got to use pop rivets.
I did.
Which she worked out why they
call pop rivets, because it scared the bejesus out of me every time.
Because it goes pop when it's done.
So we had a good giggle.
Yeah. And I think on the roof yesterday we were getting about 16 amps. So
I was getting 16 amps. I was getting a sunburnt neck while I was sat on that roof. But yeah, it was fun. We thought we'd be there'd be
dead.
some crosswords, but we worked really well. Got it all sorted. It was really good.
It took us probably about 4 hours, which is quite a long time really, to install the solar panel. Got that done, and also managed to, while I was up there, fit the 4G antenna and the TV aerial as well. Because in our van we actually had a TV that came with it, and a company sent us a TV to review as well, which I'll do in another video.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty good really. Got TV in the van, it's amazing.
Yep. So last night it was good fun. With me doing like quarantine and all. So I was sat on my bed with my dog watching Friends, drinking beer. Because,
As you do.
Yeah. What else do you do?
I'm sorry this video really doesn't show that much of where we are. Like I say, we're trying to keep our location really private, and that is probably going to hinder us being able to do a van tour as well. So maybe we might be cheeky and go and find somewhere when we got to nip out eventually for LPG and stuff like that. Might go and do it then. But for now, we're just trying to adhere to the sensible rules. I'm not kind of like saying, you know, I know some of you are like, they don't like listening to the government and stuff like that. The government doesn't tell you what to do. But we're just kind of like going with the sensible rules, which is just stay away from people, stay away from shopping, supermarkets, crowds of people. You know, we are just going out to walk Cooper during the day, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or get water, and that's it.
And we've not needed any food just yet because
No.
we've stocked up. So we're going to wait until that dwindles a bit, and then we will go out and get just what we need, and then come back again.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if we can shop local and not do massive supermarkets, because I don't like the idea of the fact that people aren't taking enough care in supermarkets.
No.
So, you know.
I mean, we've seen stories on the news, and people have sent us stuff on WhatsApp and stuff about some of the crazy things people are doing out there, and people are just carrying as normal. Obviously, I'm still working remotely, and one of my customers was telling me he's going to work, he's taking the precautions, he's got to go into the office, and outside his industrial unit he can see, like, you know, 10 or 15 people all queued up talking to each other, stood next to each other for a burger van at lunchtime.
Because that's worth dying for, isn't it?
It's just crazy.
It makes no sense at all. And I do hope that what people are saying is true, that a lot of people will get it and will be okay.
Yeah.
But it's the people that won't be okay. We've got to look after them.
Yep.
We just have to. And that means don't go out if you don't need to.
You guys are sending in tons of questions right now.
So thank you, and keep up
Yeah,
with questions.
and thanks for the lovely comments from you all on the Van Tech Tuesday video, and from last week as well. Comments about my shoulder and comments about us being safe and things like that. So thanks
thank
for that.
you very
really
much.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. Please do send any questions you got in or anything else. And next week's little video is probably going to be more of us tinkering with the van.
Yes, tinkering and
yeah.
making
Seeing how
some more
van life
glimpses
is.
and stuff. Glimpses
Yeah.
of the van before the van tour. So.
Yeah, what we're trying to do for the van tour is obviously doing a proper van tour where in one go you get inside, outside, all the features, all the
cool little things that Burton have
yeah.
done, because there's lots of cool
Yeah.
little things.
and that's what we want to do in a van tour. What I don't want to do is a half-assed job really, so
Yeah.
that's why I'd rather do it properly. So there we go.
Yep.
So thanks very much for watching. You
Yep.
take care, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.
What are you trying to do?
Scratching my butt.
There's other things for that. Spades are not for that.
That's not their intended.
No.
That's not their intended purpose.
Oh,
Can you scratch it?
I can't.